question of whether you want to be on life support is a very serious question and a very important question, whether you are making the decision for yourself or for one of your loved ones. I'm attorney Vernita Williams. I practice in the area of estate planning, and I often have occasion to talk about the issue of life support. I have found that many times when you ask a person, do you want to be on life support? They will often say, oh no, I don't want to be on life support. I don't want to be on a breathing machine. Because when they hear the word life support, what they think about is a breathing machine. But life support is more than a breathing machine. It's more than being on a ventilator. So I now encourage all of my clients to look at least 7 things that are related to life support. The first thing is, yes, would you want to be on a breathing machine if you were terminally ill, if you couldn't breathe on your own? A breathing machine is also called a ventilator. So that's the first thing. Do you want to be on a breathing machine? Well, the second thing is, what about cardiac resuscitation? You know, in the hospitals, there's a such thing as a DNR. That's a do not resuscitate order. Are you one of these kinds of people who say, well, if I'm really, really sick, I'm seriously ill, and I have what they call a cardiac crash, do you bring the crash cart? Do you resuscitate me? Or would you prefer a DNR, a do not resuscitate order? The third thing is, what about a feeding tube or an IV? Sometimes a person may be seriously ill and they cannot drink water or they cannot eat food on their own. What is your opinion about having a feeding tube or being fed fluids intravenously? What do you think about that? The fourth thing is, what about blood and blood products? Certain diseases cause a loss of blood, or the body is in a condition where it does not make blood. And sometimes I've dealt with people who were of various religions, like Jehovah's Witness. They don't believe in transfusions, blood transfusions. So what's your opinion on blood and blood products? So that's a fourth thing that you need to think about. Another thing, number 5, is surgery and invasive diagnostic tests. What do you think about the need for emergency surgery or some type of diagnostic test to figure out what type of care you need? The sixth thing is, what about dialysis? Some terminal ailments are such that the kidney fails to function and dialysis is necessary. I've known people to say, well, I don't want to be on dialysis. And the seventh thing is, what about antibiotics? Many times when a person is in a very deteriorated or frail condition, antibiotics will be necessary. So when you say, I don't want to be on life support, take a very careful look at least these 7 things and have a discussion and indicate in your living will whether you want to be on a breathing machine or what you want to do about these other areas. Now, I have found that what a person says about life support heavily depends upon where they are in life. If you have a young person who's never had a medical challenge, that's the person that's going to say, do everything for me. I want a breathing machine. I want cardiac resuscitation. I want a feeding tube. I want IVs. I want blood products. I want everything. I want everything. But then sometimes when you discuss these same things with a person who's had very intense medical challenges and a person who's been sick for a long, long time, sometimes these people opt out and say, hey, I'm tired of the struggle. I've lived a full, enjoyable life. I just really don't want all of these things that just keep me here in a very declined position with a poor quality of life. I don't want these things. So as an attorney, I always try to fully understand what a person wants in these areas and make sure that the healthcare surrogate that is being selected by a person understands what the person wants to do in all of these areas. So we've had this discussion about whether a person wants to be on life support. If you like additional information, a checklist of 25 things you can do to set your affairs in order, please go to my website at vcwlaw.com. That is vcwlaw.com, where you can get a checklist of 25 things you can do to set your affairs in order, and you can also find 25 estate planning tips to help you avoid legal nuisances and nightmares. Also, give me a call if you'd like to give me your comments or suggestions or questions at 786-831-9483. That's 786-831-9483. Thank you for listening.